The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. To integrate or not integrate? That is the question. And apologies to Shakespeare. I'm Kimberly, and I'm from CPS, and today I will be your moderator. Before introducing our speakers, let's quickly run through the GoToWebinar user interface. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the GoToWebinar question box in your control panel on the right-hand side of the screen. I'll be monitoring questions during the presentations. We've earmarked plenty of time for questions, at least 2 stops. Also, the presentation looks best in full screen mode. So you'll want to enable that by clicking the full screen option, which is the top right-hand side of your GoToWebinar panel. Finally, yes, we're going to be recording the webinar. We're recording it now and posting it to our website so that you can share it with colleagues or watch it again. And since you've all registered for this webinar, I will be sending a link as soon as it is live. I'm thinking Friday morning. Our webinar speaker from CPS is Jamie Dunn. Jamie Dunn is CPS's Vice President of Sales. He's been delivering ECM solutions to agency clients for over 20 years. Our friends at DocuNav will introduce themselves before they start. Jamie, when you're ready, please begin.
Thank you, Kim. So enterprise content management systems are often seen as a logical point to integrate other systems or perform like a database lookup. Historically, this comes from a few different directions. First, business software vendors were consistently adding new business features, such as search and retrieval, repositories, and collaboration to their product offerings. Eventually, they just decided they should just focus on their niche and stop trying to be like partial ECM. ECM vendors created recommended deployment content that spoke to 3 generalized usage models. So ECM uses a shared repository for the entire organization. ECM is a catalyst for a workflow as content drives the process or is produced as a result of the process. And ECM as a component of a shared organizational service, such as hiring and training, or AP, AR, or even records management and compliance. So these usage models led to the development of ECM integration tools, such as the SDK and various other libraries. And at this time, analysts touted ECM is a supporting technology that houses contextual content that's found in business systems. So agencies in particular, they grew to appreciate the automation aspects of ECM because for most agencies, there's 2 things that are very true. Automation can be leveraged to provide digital citizen services, and it's either documents or forms that drive these processes. So then some of these agencies are now benchmarking and measuring the maturity of their ECM deployments. An example of this is the more customizations or configurations, workflows, and integrations that your deployment had, the more mature it was. And today, it's still somewhat of a valid measure. So many IT analysts refer to ECM as content services to recognize content's role in organizations and the common deployment of the shared service model. Here at CPS, we've developed 5 integrations, and you can see those on the screen. And we're just going to quickly go over some of them, starting with remote agents. Some work you want to perform requires resources like data sources or running bots that you don't want to expose to the outside world. Placed behind a firewall, these resources are secure but inaccessible from your processes. Remote agents provide a secure connection to those resources so work can be performed locally and the results sent back to process automation securely. So remote agents consist of 2 things, just queues and workers. So workers are installed on your local machine and they just make requests for work by calling process automation. The queues schedule the work and each work item is then added to the queue. When the work is able to perform work, it requests work from the remote agent. The remote agent then sends queued work items, if available, to the worker. When the worker completes the work items, it returns them to the remote agent and requests more work from the remote agent. Next would be data sources. An external data source is a third-party database that resides outside of Laservish. You can use remote agents to query external data sources and transmit the results to Laserfish. This allows you to store sensitive data securely within your organization's firewalls while providing a secure method to share this data with Laserfish. So Laserfish Process Automation supports multiple different database sources that you can see on your screen, but pretty much any ODBC database Laserfish is able to communicate with. Next up would be Laserfish Connector. Laserfish Connector allows you to integrate with line of business applications. So it embeds a little button into these applications that pulls information from the application and uses that to perform a variety of tasks, such as searching the repository, maybe writing data to another application, or even updating metadata. Next is API or SDK. So SDK is just a set of .NET assemblies that provide an API for modifying Laserfish entities. After you define your entity models, you can use the entity's SDK to insert instance data into your entity models and list as well as retrieve instance data. Lastly, RPA, Laserfish Robotic Process Automation. So Laserfish bots use robotic process automation technology to let you easily configure software bots to automate repetitive, routine work between multiple systems. These bots work directly across application user interfaces, mimicking the actions a person would perform, including signing in and out of any particular application, maybe copying and pasting data, opening emails and attachments, and filling out forms. So by automating these time-consuming, very uninteresting tasks, users have much more time to focus on more important matters. So if you are considering integrating your Laserfish system, please be sure to get references from your Laserfish partner. Just because a partner can deploy an ECM system does not necessarily mean they have development and integration skills. Kim, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jamie. That was interesting. I would now like to introduce from our partner, DocuNav, Jennifer Fournier, who will be introducing her speakers.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining CPS's Integrations webinar with DocuNav Solutions. Today we'll be showing you an integration with Laserfish and our GeoDocs product. My name is Jennifer and I'm a business development manager here at DocuNav. Nikki is our technical trainer and she will first be showing you a brief PowerPoint presentation about GeoDocs, and then our software architect Ranjit will jump into a live demo. Thank you.
Nikki, your audio is on mute.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kim. I was talking away over there. Thanks so much for joining us for an introduction to GeoDocs, a Laserfish and ArcGIS integration from DocuNav Solutions. GeoDocs is an enterprise-class web services tool that unites an ESRI ArcGIS server with Laserfish. It creates another access point to your Laserfish records, empowering users to search and import records from an ESRI map interface. Here you can see a picture of the home screen with the navigation view enabled and a search completed. With the GeoDocs application, you'll be able to view location-specific Laserfish documents on a map like this. GeoDocs will integrate your existing ArcGIS layer data with Laserfish metadata and then use custom widgets to allow you to perform different functions in the system. You'll be able to search for records and filter those search results, as well as import records directly into Laserfish using location and layer data. If you make a mistake during an entry and save the information, you can always make edits to the layer and metadata information within GeoDocs or within Laserfish, as well as add and remove location links for each record. Originally, GeoDocs came about because our customers needed an additional search feature so they could view Laserfish records by location on a map. We found it was difficult for them to access regional data by location through a custom search in the repository. Searching by any street name returns every record with any reference to that street, and that could be a lot of results. Another issue with those return searches was that they couldn't be sorted by location. And then we also found that not only did our users need to search by location and see those results on a map, but they also needed to be able to draw a shape or a line on a map to find specific records that met certain search criteria. With GeoDocs, we've been able to leverage existing ArcGIS data, enhancing Laserfish metadata with that information, and improving efficiency for users because they can now search by layer and location. Searches are back to being instantaneous. Being able to pinpoint a location on the map and import a document using XY coordinates has been a game changer for our customers when using the GeoDocs application. Within the integrated environment, records will still be managed and viewed within Laserfish, but they can also be viewed in GeoDocs. Existing workflows, starting rules, permissions, and retention rules will all remain in place and continue to function as configured. New records will also be subject to those existing workflows, rules, and permissions. Now, those same statements, they're also true for records and data that are imported by GeoDocs users. During import, administrators can select a template and apply a layer to each record. Additional ArcGIS data can be added using metadata fields for designated information. GeoDocs uses Laserfish API integration to perform bulk imports and custom searches. There's also an ArcGIS integration that allows for an address search using the map-based layer selection, and users can individually select multiple ArcGIS layers for viewing. And then I thought this might be a good point to pause and see if there were any questions with this preliminary information.
No questions in the answer box. Again, if you have a question,
All right,
please feel free to ask it.
okay.
I think
just keep
ahead,
going.
Nikki. Yeah.
Sure, thanks. So here you can see our component view and how the system is set up. We have the customer's ArcGIS system here communicating with the GeoDocs web app over here. The GeoDocs web app communicates with Laserfish through the DocuNav web service and has its own database. GeoDocs can be hosted on the DocuNav side or the client side, on-premise or in the cloud. The application has its own authentication service with a separate database. Here you can see the role-based views within GeoDocs for the different users. We have administrators and we have regular users. Regular users have the ability to search and view records from the Laserfish repository on the map interface only. Administrators have access to the data management screen, and we're going to see that on the next slide. And they can not only search and view records from the repository like a regular user can, but they can also import records and associate and disassociate locations on the map with records in the repository. View-only access for users means that GeoDocs customers can create a public portal where the general public could be allowed to view Laserfish records without the fear of anything being edited or changed. We do currently have at least one customer with a GeoDocs public portal. This is our data management screen that I mentioned previously. On this screen, administrators can perform a bulk import of information to the GeoDocs system. Now, this screen is mainly going to be used for the initial import of information from your Laserfish system, and DocuNav will work with you to customize this page to fit your needs so that when we bring in your data, it'll be as quick and as efficient as possible. Are there any questions on bulk importing or user roles within the system?
Actually, we have a general question, Nikki.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you have an example of the type of Laserfish files that definitely require this type of location-based integration? I thought that would be best answered by you.
Sure. We don't have anything that's really like a document is not required to be a picture or text or anything like that. It's any record that you are physically putting into the repository that you need to be able to look at a map and decide where you want to see those documents that are in the system. So we see this a lot with engineers and construction work and things like that when they're dealing with a location and they want to see all the records for a specific job site. When you search, you're going to get everything that mentions the street, everything that mentions that location. And so being able to search by the map was what will drill down those documents. So it's just regular documents in your repository.
Right, and if I may, just wanted to add
yes,
that typically,
Ranjit, please.
yeah, typically it's just PDFs or images. So GeoDocs has the ability to kind of give a small preview of the PDF files or image files. So typically those are the kind of files that are used for GeoDocs.
Okay.
Anything else, Kim?
No, we're going to hold, I have another question, but we're going to hold that for a little bit. We can keep going.
Sure. We'll talk about searches now. Okay. Here we can see an area search. And within GeoDocs, we can use shapes to perform searches. You can see the square here with the search results. Results will be shown in a pop-up window over the top of the map interface. These results can be sorted and contain hyperlinks so that you can view, edit, and download the record. Corresponding color-coded icons will populate on the map and represent different ArcGIS layers attached to records. Each color corresponds to a matching layer shown on the map, and these icons and colors are customizable. Administrators have an additional option within the search results to remove a link associated with a record. This action will only remove the link to a location on the map. The record will remain in the repository if the link is removed, allowing for another link to be created if necessary. With the custom search widget, you can search by template or fields, and the detailed results pane has the map coordinates and the laserfish metadata for each document returned. Custom search will also return records from the repository, regardless of whether the records are associated with the location on the map interface. This allows administrators to create a link directly within GeoDocs using the import widget. And now the import widget. When using the import widget, administrators can bring documents directly into the repository without ever opening the Laserfish application. You start by right-clicking the map to select the XY coordinates associated with the document you'd like to import, and the import screen will pop up. You'll need to associate a layer with a document, choose a template, and enter any corresponding metadata. You'll browse to find the file for importing and then click Import. The imported documents will be saved to a pre-configured folder in the repository, and any existing workflows will move and file those documents accordingly. And then we also have a detailed help screen you can access by clicking the small I in the upper right-hand corner for help while you're in the application. And then we have some time for question and answers before we move to the demo portion to see the live version.
Okay, we do have one question. And
okay,
this is sort of a why, so this may be a Ranjit question or both of you. I have several layers in my ArcGIS server environment, but that comes with portal/ArcGIS site capability. How would this be more beneficial than that?
So I can take that, Nikki. Maybe I can start sharing and kind of explain this before I jump into the demo. I was planning on explaining this anyway, so.
Okay, we will make you the presenter. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
There you are.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, I hope this is clear. I know some of you may have smaller screens, but so I just wanted to kind of give a use case why customers use this. Most customers typically have their ArcGIS environment pretty well set up. They have layers, they have ArcGIS applications hosted on their ArcGIS environment or maybe online. And they may also have documents within Laserfish. So this is specifically a product that kind of bridges these two together. One of the limitations for a customer, if they have both these systems, is they're not able to see documents which are specific to a layer in ArcGIS, for instance. Maybe for example, if you have like a tax parcel layer for a city, and you want some users to kind of see documents for specific parcels, but on a map, right? You will have the ability to kind of show the parcel information through layers, but let's say you want to kind of do a quick jump over to Laserfish from that parcel view. You typically need an integration, and again, this is actually ArcGIS application which is built using ArcGIS SDK, JavaScript SDK, JavaScript APIs, and also using Laserfish SDK. So we kind of bridge the gap between these two. So that's the use case. Maybe when I go through the demo, it may be a little more clearer.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so again, so this is GeoDocs, and we essentially use the ArcGIS APIs to kind of talk to the layers, get information back from layers, display maps and backgrounds and things like that. And we use the Laserfish SDK to kind of talk to Laserfish, essentially do a Laserfish search for documents, bring back documents based on document ID or search criteria. And we also have some additional optional features. Again, just wanted to mention that these components here are optional. Some of our customers use GeoDocs without these authentication services. They just host GeoDocs within the internal network. Let's say these are for internal users. You absolutely don't need the authentication service. And the database is actually a system where you have a use case where you don't have ArcGIS, or maybe you want to kind of host documents away from, outside of ArcGIS. You can still do that, but again, that's when you would use a GeoDocs database. So just wanted to clarify that. Then I think if you don't have any other questions, I'll kind of jump into the demo.
Yep, please proceed.
All right. So like I mentioned, our demo environment has pretty much everything into it because, we kind of demo all the features. So, the authentication is there. I'm logging in now as an administrator. So as an administrator, I see all the features like the data management, overview, and all the widgets. So this is essentially an ArcGIS map, and we have different widgets here. The widgets to the left, these three are widgets which we have custom built from DocuNav, and the other widgets are all standard ArcGIS widgets, which most GIS team maintain and are familiar with. So the three widgets to the left are the DocuNav specific widgets, and then we have these two search widgets here. Again, this is our demo environment, so we have all the widgets here. But this is configurable per customer. So if you wanted this widget to be on the left side, you could do that. You want this on the bottom right, you can do that. It's configurable. There's I think about 50 or 60 different configuration settings in GeoDocs where you can customize layer colors and things like that. So these are the overview of our widgets. I'll probably go through quickly the ArcGIS widgets. This is your address widget where you can go to an address quickly, and then you can look at the details on the map. And then we have the home button. Again, this is kind of something customized for every customer. Let's say you're a city. We'll typically get the coordinates of the center of the city from your team, and then we kind of mark it as the home home location. So let's say you move away from the map, you can always click the home button and come back to the same zoom settings, irrespective of whatever zoom level you're on. You can always click that and come back. And then we have the layers. This is where we'll work with the GIS team, and we kind of essentially kind of display all the layers that you want to kind of integrate with on GeoDocs, and we kind of display the layers here. One thing I quickly wanted to mention was we do have the ability to talk to ArcGIS on a secure level. So let's say your ArcGIS implementation and the layers are in a secure area, you need authentication. There's a way for GeoDocs to contact ArcGIS through tokens. As long as the token-based authentication is enabled within the ArcGIS system, GeoDocs can use that token-based system. If you have a predetermined username password to use for ArcGIS. So this is especially useful for when you have secure GIS layers that you don't want to be exposed to the public, but you want to display on a map. So that's where you can use authentication for the layers. So coming back to the layers, these are the layers that we have predetermined for this demo environment. We have these 3 layers. This widget will let you turn on and off these layers, and based on the zoom level, the layers will be enabled or disabled. That's a layer widget, and this is the search widget. This we kind of call this as our polygram widget. This is a search which is kind of tied to your layers. So we have use cases. Most of our use cases is where our customers use this kind of a search, but we also have this search widget here. And I just wanted to mention, this is like typically most of our customers don't have both these turned on. They may either use this or this one. But this is for scenarios where you just want to use do a search for documents which are not tied to any layers. You can use this feature.
Ranjit, I have a question. What would the use case be for viewing documents on a map that actually aren't tied to a layer?
So this was actually an ask from one of our customers. They had a use case where they wanted to see traffic incident reports in a street intersection, for instance. So what they would have is I have an example of that here. So you can come in here and search this intersection here, and you can kind of look at all the documents in here, and this will bring up all the documents that you search for, irrespective of what layer you have turned on or off. So this is not really tied to any ArcGIS layers. It's just tied geographically by lat long to this area. So now, this could be a scenario where the city's police department is coming in, looking at all the documents. They can look at the traffic incident reports here. They can cycle through all the documents here. And, they can even do additional kind of detailed location search if they need. They could do polyline search, something, maybe they want to just look at the intersection at, this area. They can just do some search, something like this.
So that brings me to another question. So if you're looking back to that traffic accident or another example, can you clearly search a radius? So like a box, right? Or by drawing a line?
Yes. Okay. So we have the this is the rectangle search. We have the the circle search. So you can just draw a circle like this, and you can do that search there. You have the I think this is the one where you can do the the triangle or the shape search. And you also have the ability to do like a freehand search, if you will. So you can do customized shapes, something like this, and you can kind of narrow down locations, this way. So this is available.
Okay.
By default. And yeah, and of course, this is again just not tied to any layers. So the search results will give you additional information here. This brings all the documents from Laserfish also. So you could click on it and hyperlink over to your Laserfish environment. This is configurable. But again, any user using that feature will need a login to go into that system, the Laserfish system, to view the document there. But you can always get a preview of the document here. You have the ability to kind of download the document onto your machine, for instance, and then look at it in detail if needed. So this is all standard, feature within GeoDocs. Again, just to kind of summarize, this is a document from Laserfish. We bring the document back, display it on the ArcGIS map, and we give the user the ability to kind of look at the document, and then of course download the document. And in addition to that, the document within Laserfish, whatever metadata is on the document is available to be viewed here within this application. And the search results is sortable. You can filter by doc names. You can do all kind of standard table operations on this results.
Okay. How would the user be able to view all documents associated with a certain layer, but the layer isn't just an easy shape, it's several miles of a road, for instance?
Yeah, so that's a great question. What I'll do is I'll kind of switch over to the polygram search. That's kind of typically what is used for a layer related search. So this is a scenario, where most typically GIS teams are familiar with. They help set this up initially because there's a lot of configuration to be done. There's mapping between layers and laserfish fields. All these are customizable. So typically, we set this up by working with the GIS team from the city. And once that is all set up, we have, for instance, let's say you have this tax parcel layer turned on. You will use this widget. In this scenario, maybe you will turn this off, only this will be available. You could come in here and you can do the same, shape search, and that'll bring all the documents which this shape has touched. So as you can see in this case, this is a different scenario, right? So what we are doing here is you're searching for documents that this shape is touching in this layer. So as you can see, this line went through this parcel. So if there's a document here, which is, by coordinates, actually, somewhere else could be, but it's actually part of this parcel. So that would show up here. As you can see, in this case, the search touched this parcel. So we display the document for that parcel, and we kind of highlight that, using our color coding here. So that is something which, we worked with our customers, and they kind of helped, kind of iron out the actual feature. And this is how we have it implemented right now. So to go back to your question, so let's say, we have had requirements where a customer said we want the ability to kind of search for documents, say only within these two parcels. So, they helped us implement this feature, which is essentially you would come in here, you would kind of start, drawing probably some kind of a shape, and then come in here and then just double click on it. And that search will bring only documents from those two parcels. So, there could be even scenarios where you want to search for something from here all the way, to this parcel here. You could use this polyline feature to kind of do that search.
That looks really useful. I do have a few more questions. Can you
Sure.
buffer from selected features on the map? For instance, a 300-foot buffer from a parcel.
We do have that ability. So we don't have that implemented right now. But if you have detailed requirements, we can definitely kind of add that on.
Okay.
So yeah. So I guess my understanding is, let's say you do like maybe search this way. You just want documents from 300 meters from this selection.
Right.
I guess that's okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yes.
Okay. Can you consume a geocoder from my ArcGIS server?
Username passwords for secure layers if it is secure, and then we'll need a laserfish username password for retrieving documents. And I think there's quite a huge list, especially if there are, like, we have customers with 15 layers, so we typically ask the customers to help choose, colors for different layers,
Sure.
or icons. And then there's customizable icons, like here. This is our standard GeoDocs icon, but if you are a city and you want your icon to be displayed, that's also a customizable item. So there's quite a bit of items that we need for customization. So yes, yep, all that is included.
Okay, I have another question. If a user does not have access to Laserfish, can they still see the document from the integration by downloading?
Yes. So that is one of the features. So like in this case, right? I did a search. I see these two documents. I can click on any entry here, and it'll take me to the document. And then when I click on the on that icon, I can see the actual document here. So this is at this point the user has not logged into Laserfish at all. So if the user really had to look at additional details, they can always hyperlink in here, and if they have a username password to log into Laserfish, they can do that.
Okay.
Yep.
If is the file directly attached to the record in the ArcGIS layer? I only see the associated layer in the search results, but not the parcel number in the example.
So I guess let me. I just wanted to kind of bring this out. This may be a little, difficult for me to explain, but so this is how the actual application works.
Okay.
So there's an initial setup that is done, which is in Laserfish, we decide with the customer that we choose a template. So this could be a brand new template, and we'll say maybe it's called GIS imaging or something like that, and then we'll define the list of fields in that template.
Sure.
For a specific tax parcel or for a specific layer. So we have customers who have one Laserfish template for one ArcGIS layer, and then if they had 3 layers, they would have 3 different templates. And then what they would do is GeoDocs has the ability to kind of map one field between these 2 systems. So what we do is, for example, if it's a tax parcel layer, we'll take the tax parcel ID and map it to a feature ID in the GIS template. And typically what we do is in the template, you have the ability to have multiple field values. So, let's say you have one single document for multiple tax parcels. It'll be one document, but search will bring up the same document irrespective of which parcel it is part of.
Got it.
So that is an initial setup that we'll work with the customer to kind of establish. Typically most of our customers have all their GIS documents or in a specific template already. So then it becomes easy for us to map between the 2. So
and you can add fields to those templates too, right? If necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to that, actually, what we even have some customers who have just one single GIS template and they have 5 layers. What they have done is they have had multiple fields in the same template, and they have reused. And so layer 1 will have mapping to a field 1. Layer 2 will have a mapping to a field 2 in Laserfish. So we have customers who have done that too.
Okay. I asked you this question during our rehearsal, but I'll ask it again. What if you already have like 1,000 documents in Laserfish, but need to tie it into GIS? What's the most practical? Well, A, can you do that? And B, what's the most practical way of doing it?
Yeah. So we have a administrative feature for data management. So let's say you have 10,000 documents. Our team will help go through the documents in Laserfish, and maybe if they are not on a specific template of there's no template metadata in it, we can help set up all that in the Laserfish environment. And then what you can do is you can come in here, you can do all that here too. You can search for documents. Maybe you have all those documents in a specific folder in Laserfish. So this is actually doing a Laserfish search, and we bring back all the documents within the Laserfish, and then we'll work with the customer to kind of make this interface suited to their needs, because everybody is different, right? So it's not one size fits all kind of screen. So that is one thing we do upfront. This is typically for you want to kind of bring in 1,000, 2,000 documents in one shot kind of scenario. But if you're in a scenario where you just want to bring in 10 documents existing in Laserfish, or you want to bring in 10 new documents from your desktop, that's where we have these 3 widgets, which I can go into detail now. So at this point, we just went through the widgets on this side. So it actually leads up to a detail of these 3 widgets here. You know, like I mentioned, you know, the initial setup can be done using the data management screen. But then once you have, let's say, a good point where you think, you know, your environment is kind of ready to go live and your team is actually working on the documents, you can have administrative users come in here. They can search for documents. Let's say they have they have a template, so called GIS in Laserfish. So this is a search widget which will kind of essentially bring back all the templates that is available for view from Laserfish. So these are your actual Laserfish templates. So I'm coming in here and saying, you know, I want to search for all documents which have the GIS template. Unfortunately, I have only, you know, maybe 100 or 200 documents, but you can kind of narrow it down. So again, we'll work with the customers to say, you know, kind of mark your, you know, documents. Let's say you have documents in different areas. You can probably maybe mark it down with zip codes. You could have an additional field here for zip codes, and then you search for the zip code, bring those documents here. Then you can kind of, you know, select the document. You can choose a layer. And then let's say you want to attach this document to, let's say, this parcel here. So typically what you can do is you can click on that, and this brings back the standard ArcGIS parcel information. You can kind of capture the actual parcel ID, and then you can, again, go back and add it to the actual predetermined field that, you know, that you set up initially. Like I wanted to show you, so like the feature ID, and then you would enter that parcel information in here, and then you would say, I want to attach it to the tax parcel layer, and then, you know, typically you would say attach. And so what this does is this takes this parcel ID, adds it into this field value in GIS template in Laserfish, and saves it in Laserfish. So now, so document number 1362, right? So now if you kind of, let me just clear this out here. And then now if you do a search here, you should see 1362 come here. There may be other documents too, but you know, 1362 should come up here with that parcel ID in there. Oh, okay, I think the system is kind of slowed down. I think my more resource probably, yeah, but essentially that's what it should do. Let me see if...
While you're doing that, why don't you could probably just answer this, you don't have to show anything. Can I set up a hyperlink in my ESRI viewer to a document in GeoDocs?
No, that's not possible actually, because GeoDocs is a dynamic application. So what this does is when a user does a search, what GeoDocs does is it queries the ArcGIS layer for all the feature IDs that search touched. So essentially, we use ArcGIS APIs to get all the you know, list of tax parcel IDs, for instance. You know, so this first API lookup through the ArcGIS is, you know, APIs would maybe return 5 parcel IDs. Then what we do is we take those parcel IDs and then do a Laserfish search for those 5 specific parcel IDs in this template and in this field. And that'll return us back the actual documents, which we then kind of, you know, overlay it on the map. So it's essentially, you know, a dynamic lookup, right? So there's no static hyperlink that can be provided for other applications to use, unfortunately.
Okay. I just want to call out one final last call for questions. I think we've caught up. Ranjit, do you have anything else you want to show us?
Yeah, I just refreshed it and just wanted to show that document back.
Oh,
so
there.
1362. Yeah. So 1362 was the document that was associated, and then, you know, you can see that whatever parcel ID you entered there is available for display here, and then you can click on it. You can go into the document, and then you can click on the document, and you can see the preview of the document. So I think there was a question asked earlier, what kind of file types? So today we work with text files, image files, and PDFs. So electronic documents, unfortunately, don't come out as a preview here. So those don't work, but most of our customers typically have it as PDFs or images.
Sure. Okay.
So that's one way of associating documents which are existing in Laserfish to a layer.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other way is the import. So this is a scenario where you don't have any document in Laserfish at this point. So this is not like a bulk import of 1,000, 2,000 documents. This is for scenarios where you want to import 5 or 6 different documents. What you could do is you could come in here again, like before. You could come in, click on a location and find the parcel ID, and then you can say, I want to add it to this parcel, and I want to add it to this template. And then, again, this requires some knowledge of, what the mappings have been done as a user. So this is again done by administrative users from the city or the customer. So they will know, that these are the fields that need to be pre-populated with this information. And then they just come in here and simply, just choose some documents, just random maybe. I'll just pick a few of these documents and just hit import. And that should import those 3 documents in there. So these are, 2071, 2073, and 2075 are the doc IDs. So these are brand new documents which are saved in Laserfish. So this is the second way of associating documents between Laserfish and GeoDocs.
With your customer base so far, what's been the more common scenario? Have all the documents been in Laserfish and they want to associate it, or has it been the other way, whereas the documents are already associated to a layer, but they want to tie it into Laserfish?
I guess it's the first case.
Sure.
They have a lot of documents.
Right.
So their team has already, they're scanning in documents from.
That's more of a compelling need,
years.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. From 20 years back, they scan it, and at that point, we helped, explain to them that it's best you choose a template when you scan the documents in, and at least put some kind of a identifier, like a zip code or street name or something where you can come back to from GeoDocs and search, and then do the association here.
Okay, that makes sense.
I hope. Okay.
Question, can you talk a little bit about the licensing for this integration?
So again, so for GeoDocs itself, we have a different pricing and licensing information, which probably Jennifer can explain better. But typically, the customers have their own ArcGIS and Laserfish implementation.
Yep.
We're then happy to help with that too. But typically, our scenarios, we go in and integrate into an existing Laserfish or Laserfish and ArcGIS environment. So we just need, like I mentioned, username with appropriate permissions to go into Laserfish via the SDK and get documents back and get information back, and also a username and password if these layers are secure in ArcGIS. So we have quite a lot of customers who don't have the layer secure. It's public, so the layer URL is pretty much public. So we can work with that too.
Okay, good. And also, I'll just add to that, if you have any questions, you can contact us at CPS, and we can get you the answers to that regarding licensing or pricing for that matter. All right, that is all my questions.
Okay.
Well, last call for questions. We'll pause just a few seconds, but I think we've gotten them all. This has been really good. So thank you, Ranjit, Nikki, Jennifer, and Jamie. And thank you to our audience. Good questions, guys. And feel free, info@cps247.com if you have questions, either when you get the recording or if you pass it along, someone else has a question, we can, and we can loop GeoDocs or DocuNav back in if necessary. We very much appreciate you being here. We hope it was useful. And just one more reminder, yes, we recorded the webinar and I'll be posting it up on the website, cps247.com by end of day on Friday. But because you signed up for the webinar, I'll be sending you an email alerting you that the webinar is up and a link to the video. Thank you for making time to join us today, and we will see you on the next webinar.